All right. So, our final review of the day is going to be for the new Michael Mann film, Ferrari. Michael Mann, you know, the guy, he's done films such as The Insider, Collateral, Thief, classic
Eat.
film. Heat. Yeah, legendary classic films there. And he's with Ferrari here. You have Adam Driver, who's playing Enzo Ferrari. This is his second time playing Italian man. This turns out his accent got a little bit better since House of Gucci. He learned his lesson. He's like, okay, I'm gonna work on it a little bit more after House of Gucci.
Spent a little bit more time with the dialect coach.
Yeah. So
or
here,
just after hanging out with Jared Leto on that film, it was like, okay, I need to step my game up.
yeah.
Oh boy.
So yeah, you have Adam Driver playing Enzo Ferrari, the legendary former ex-racer, you know, head of big entrepreneur, head of people know Ferrari, you know, the car, you know, you can look at them but can't touch them because you can't afford them. You know that, but you know, this is all the way back in the 50s here, 1957, is dealing with him kind of taking, you know, being the lead of that empire, trying to be this huge entrepreneur, dealing with a lot of financial struggles there. Also, there's this huge race that goes on in Italy where it's 1,000 miles, where it's a race across Italy there of like testing out these different.
Yeah, it's the Mille Miglia. It's like 1,000-mile race. It's across like public streets throughout Italy.
Yeah. And that's kind of one of the major events that happens in this movie, you know, that kind of goes on that you see. And of course, you know, any powerful man is going to always have some side chicks, troubles with the marriage, kind of going on. And then you do have his wife here, who's played Penelope Cruz, who I think does a really terrific job in this movie. I think she's pretty great in this. You also have Shailene Woodley, who we're going to get into a little bit more. I think is pretty much out of the main actors that you see in this film, really one of the weakest links here. I don't think she really fits at all, really here too much. When she tries to do an accent, I was like, I don't know what accent she's trying to do. It seems like she's trying to do like Irish. I don't know what fucking accent she's trying to do. But I don't know. I'm not a dialect coach. I don't know really. So I don't know. Maybe I'm fucking stupid. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, I am fucking stupid. But you know, I don't know. Maybe she does a great job. But I just thought that I thought out of everybody she was kind of the weakest there. But Dusk, you saw this movie. What were some of your thoughts on Ferrari?
I think visually this movie is very good. I think it has a lot of good cinematography, especially when it comes to racing. This movie is more biopic-y than it is action. While you can see a lot of the action moments that Michael Mann has done before, this one's a bit more of a character piece, as rightfully so. Unfortunately, by the time we're meeting in, this is 1957, Enzo Ferrari. This is past his racing days. This is full on into his entrepreneurship. Recently, the movie starts with his eldest son had just passed. Unfortunately, his marriage is kind of on the rocks. His company's kind of going bankrupt, and it's all on the line to win this one race to kind of get him back into the populace and to kind of salvage his company. And a lot of those elements do come colliding in this movie. I think a lot of the performances are fairly strong. Mostly, honestly, between Penelope Cruz and Adam Driver. I think those are the strongest performances they have at this one. Besides the fact, Adam Driver's gotten better in his accent. Half the time, though, I couldn't understand a word he was saying. But, you know, he's like, that's just the way it is. And I'm a lot of this, with the side characters, unfortunately, I have to agree with you. I don't know what Shailene Woodley was doing as Lena Lardy, but that accent kind of took you out every time it happens, where you're like, wait, what? There is stronger cast though. Sarah Gadon plays Linda Christian, and and Gabriel Leon plays Alfonso de Portago, who is a racer, kind of quick guy. Another sort of cast is Peter Collins, who is played by Jack O'Connell, which is always nice to see Jack O'Connell. If you don't remember Jack O'Connell, he played James Cook from Skins, and he's in this. It's always nice. It's always nice to see him. He's one of the more advanced racers. He introduces the other racer guys when he first comes in. He's one of the head racers there. If you also don't know much about racing history, Jack O'Connell plays the character of Peter Collins, who next year will die in an accident while racing for Ferrari, unfortunately. So there's a lot of. I think that's what this movie also does very well. It shows you that racing, while a very thrilling sport, does not have the safety features that we have now.
Oh
and
yeah,
even still
it is
now.
a very dangerous sport.
Yeah. And especially there's moments in this movie where Ferrari's like, we need more speed. He's telling his engineer, we need more speed. We need more of this. And his engineer literally takes off his glasses. And it's just like, oh my God. Like the amount of headache it is. And the demand and the mechanical failures that can happen and the realities of that racing. I think that's where the movie's at its strongest, where it brings up those elements. Unfortunately, I don't know about you, Josh, but it took its damn time getting to a lot of those aspects.
Mm. Yeah, I kind of felt that same way. I think it is a little slow in a lot of points. Like, performances are good. Direction is good. Michael Mann, those are good. This is a biopic. That seems. I think I read an article where they said like, you have superhero movies. Everybody's trying to go after superhero movies. And then also biopics because those are making a lot of money now. It's people doing a lot. So a lot of people are trying to scrap up these biopics and do those and do movies about historical figures there. And then seeing a lot of movies even this year, Oppenheimer, Tetris, various other kind of Blackberry, things like that, various other kind of biopics that we've had this year, especially about powerful men in positions of power. And then you're gonna have the situation where he's married, but then he also got a side chick, like I mentioned before, and there's trouble in the marriage, and how's he gonna juggle all this? And then also he's got this company to run, and but hey, it's okay that he's a piece of shit because also, hey, he's a great dude who does this. Oppenheimer, hey, he was a genius and he was made helped make the atom bomb, and then in this, with Ferrari, it's like, hey, this guy runs this company, and then he's gonna revolutionize racing. So it's all gonna work out. You know what I mean? If you know the history of Enzo Ferrari and everything, obviously Ferrari, his company is still around. So I mean, you kind of know
worth
that.
More than $4.6 billion.
Yeah. And then we have come in. I really appreciate the slow scenes because it made the racing something and seem more intense by comparison. So that is a good point that they come in. Thank you for that comment there. So when you compare it to something like another racing movie that we had this year, like Gran Turismo. Now, obviously, I mean that's like comparing Gran Turismo to this is like comparing The Godfather to fucking Mafia Mommy. But
Jesus.
but in terms of like, and I like the racing scenes in Gran Turismo. Those are really good, but in this, it's like it does have a little bit more stake to it. It does feel a little bit more visceral in the way it's shot. The editing of it, of course, in any racing movie, you're gonna have the scenes where everybody's like, you're gonna have we do the clutch and the pedals and all that stuff, editing wise, and cut between that. They do that a lot of stuff there, but it's kind of like because this is it's 1957. Like I said, the cars in here are not the same cars that we have now. So they're in these little, what I mean, kind of vehicles going really fast. It's like, damn. And then they have no hood, no nothing. And then there's a scene
no
with one dude,
no nothing, no seatbelts.
no seatbelts. So when they hit something, they just go flying, and you see the body it's like a rag doll. It's like Jesus. And there's some really bad accidents in this. So that kind of adds to things in the intensity of certain situations there. Dust, what do you think about that comment that the person just made there in chat?
I can see where he's coming from. I think that was one of the better parts of Ford versus Ferrari was those great little moments of character and then them kind of working towards building a vehicle and then those moments of race. And I wanted that conjunction there. And there are moments in scenes in this where you have those slower parts that then bleed into the more fast-paced moments. I just wish the pacing was a bit firmer as we're going back and forth. There's a couple places where the slower moments kind of drag just a little too long for my liking to naturally, in a rhythm, get back to those racing moments, to get to those moments. So while I did very much appreciate them, especially him, Adam Driver's performance and Penelope Cruz and the back and forth that they would have, and then him working with his constituents and trying to also run his company and also pay attention to his other son, and have to deal with his side piece. And there's a lot going on there. And then we have like a new driver, and he's trying to make his mark on things. There's a lot going on in this movie. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of frustrations. There's a lot of interesting aspects that make a a movie like this work. I just wish the pacing and the moment to moments uh, gelled a bit better.
Yeah. And when you said he's got the kind of, the stable of drivers that he has that's going to be doing the race, the whole
Mhm.
1,000 mile race here. Like you mentioned, Jack O'Connell. You mentioned Gabriel Leon. You also have Patrick Dempsey, who plays more of an older veteran
Mhm.
racer here. Who Patrick Dempsey seems like he's maybe getting some more, interesting character,
Mhm.
character actor type roles here now. He shows up in this. He's pretty good, and I love the scene where Adam Driver's sitting talking. There's a scene where he's talking to all the his racers and giving them kind of their motivational speech to go out there and do their thing, which is good. So yeah, I mean, Adam Driver, Penelope Cruz, really good in this movie. And Adam Driver has a lot of great scenes. Penelope Cruz has a lot of really great scenes. They have great scenes together. Could I see them being nominated? I don't know. It's starting to get a little bit stiffer now and competition wise. But I still think they do a pretty much a really good job in this. Uh, he continued to say, "I'm not even a car guy, and those Italian cars were gorgeous,
Mhm.
and just absolute death trap." Yeah, they're gorgeous looking. A lot of those cars, they are gorgeous.
That's part of the reason why Patrick Dempsey is even in this movie.
Yeah,
He's a huge racer.
he's a huge racing fan. He competes a lot. He did the 24-hour Le Mans in 2013.
He owns a few vintage cars. He works with them. He loves them, and he's commented multiple times that if I could walk away from acting completely and go motorsport, I would.
Mm, yeah. And then person also follows said I did expect more making the car that's gonna win the race stuff, like a montage of stuff being tested and such.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So that was not a necessarily bad surprise. Yeah. Yeah. So you did have that in the movie as well. Yeah, Patrick Dempsey. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, he is an avid car fan. He obviously does it in his real life, so that actually helps too. So yeah. So solid movie, I thought. I don't think this is a bad movie.
No,
But when you say like if I was making like we're gonna do a best of, if I was saying best top 25, top 20, it probably would maybe get in there.
maybe on the bottom.
Yeah, it would probably get in there. So for me, I would give this lowish. I think still kind of good tune in for me.
Hmm.
What about you, Dust? Final thoughts rating.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think this is a lowish tune in. It does everything it needs to do, but the flaws are apparent in it. But it doesn't detract enough that the enjoyment of the performances or the cinematography and the acting get in the way. It really just kind of lifted up to where it's more the sum of its parts. And for a biopic for Enzo Ferrari, I think this one's not too bad, not too shabby, all things considered.
Mm, yeah. So, two tune ins for Ferrari, directed by Michael Mann, starring Adam Driver and Penelope Cruz and Shailene Woodley. There we go. All right. Said B plus. It's a well made, well acted movie of a kind that will that we
Mhm.
don't really get anymore. If this came out in the '90s, I'd rate it less, I guess. Mm,
Yeah, that had the '90s. It was a much stiffer competition.
mm, yeah. Racing movie wise, I mean, I don't know. How would you think about the racing movies you've seen?
Mm,
What would
Uh, Commutatively, I think it's still strong even among its peers.
Hmm.
I think it does a fairly good job. I would be interested to see because there was a Italy did a mini series that was later cut and made to air on TV on a movie on the movie screen called Ferrari, and apparently that also is sort of a biopic of his life. And I'd be interested to see that one as well. Oh, I didn't know it at the time. I only found that out later when it was like, oh, this is the second one. I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
you I want to say there was a recent documentary that came out about
Hmm.
Ferrari. I want to say I can't think of it right now. Um, All right, so we're gonna get into our worst of list here. So let me see here. Let's see how we're gonna do this. So you, Nick, and Dust have the least amount. I have the most, but there's a lot of overlap here. So it's quite a bit of overlap. So I'm gonna go from people who have the least amount, and then when I get to mine, we could just basically knock off mine. We don't have to go over the same ones. Just basically briefly cover it. So just if you can give a little bit of an explanation on, maybe 1, 2 minutes of how you feel about the movie. We'll kind of chime in about your pick,
Mhm.
kind of go in there. But I'm gonna go with Dusk, and then kind of work my way up here
Okay.
to go
Alrighty.
there. Uh, Person that's better or worse than Napoleon. My wife preferred Ferrari, but I prefer Napoleon.
I cannot wait to the 4-hour cut of Napoleon because there was so much cut out of that movie that Ridley Scott wanted to put in that movie or was told no constantly.
Yeah. Uh, I think Napoleon's got some really badass action sequences in it.
Mhm.
And there. It also, I mean, it doesn't have people doing any accents in it. I mean, it's got people just no French
Yeah,
accents to be.
Ridley Scott does. Ridley Scott took the lessons from House of Gucci and said, "You know what? Fuck it. Don't even bother with an accent."
Yeah, don't even fucking bother. So I think if I had to pick between which is a better made movie, I think maybe Ferrari is better. It's got better performances and everything. Which would I rather maybe see again? I think Napoleon I'd rather see again.
Mm.
If that makes sense, yeah.